Before I show you this awesome brand new feature in Chrome, I want to make sure of two things. First, we want to make sure that everybody's up to date on their Chromebook by going into Settings, going down to About Chrome, and making sure you're on version 118. That is when this was released. So in order to have this feature, you need to make sure you're on 118. If it requires an update, please do so and restart. The second thing we want to make sure of is down at the bottom that you have the Select to Speak turn on. That was done in an earlier video. That's going to enable us to really unlock the full features of this reader mode. All right, let's talk about reader mode. So right now I have National Geographic Kids up. You can see here, it's a pretty clean website. And one thing you may notice is that there's an advertisement off to the side. There's some images, some different links. Down at the bottom, you can scroll through some things. What reader mode does is gets rid of some of these distractions and makes it a much cleaner read for all of us. In order to access this, we're going to go up to our panel and the side panel and click on that. The first time you do this, you will notice that it says reading list. Some of you may have some articles here that you added to your reading list, but most of us probably looks just like this. When we click on this drop-down menu, you can select reading mode. This brings up what looks kind of like a Google Doc, but it's all the text. It extracts all the important text from this website. But what it does is it allows you guys to all customize that text just like a Google Doc. The first thing I can do is I can go over here to the font. But before I do that, I'm going to make this page a little bit wider. You'll notice that none of the text is pulled over, so you do want to keep this page open. The first thing is I can customize my fonts. Now, the first font is Poppins. This is a very, very popular font, and it's very popular because look at how clean it is. This is what's called a sans serif, meaning it doesn't have serifs at the top like a serif font. You'll notice the difference. You see at the letter I, you have that little ledge there. That's a serif. So when it's a sans serif, it does not have that little ledge like you see there. So you have all different fonts that you can choose which one you'd like. This one, Lexan font, this one was designed for all types of readers. It is a wonderful font. It is the one that we as East Penn would recommend for you. Of course, that is completely up to you guys on which one you want, but that's the one that I'm going to choose, and that's the one I'm going to keep it at. So you can explore and find which font is best for you. Again, highly recommend Lexan. The second thing I can do is I can adjust the font size. So now I have it to a full screen here, unlike the other one where I was zooming in and out when things get cut off. If I change the font size, nothing will get cut off. It'll just move to the next line. So font size there. The third thing I can do is I can change the theme. This changes the color of the font and the background. So if I choose something like dark, that'll be a black background and white text. If I choose yellow, you have that sepia tone background and the black text. I'm going to go back to light. The final two, you can actually change what's called the kerning, which is the distance between the letters, and then the leading. So the lead is the line height. So here's how lead would work. Right now, I can make it standard. Notice how the lines are very close to each other, like a normal text. If I choose very loose, you can notice how it's almost double spaced. And if I go to the kerning, right now it's standard. If I do wide, it's spaced out a little bit more, or very wide. I'm going to go back to just wide, and I'm going to do loose. So now I have something that's, for me, a little bit easier to read. The really nice thing about this is Chrome actually saves your preferences. So now let me go to SpaceX, this article here, and notice everything is the same as the other one. Very cool. So after I find what works for me, it stays there. So now I can go back to this one, And let's talk about that select to speak. So select to speak, there's a couple different ways that I can do this. First is I can highlight, let's say right here, I can highlight this text. I can go down to the bottom and I can just select that. Have it turned on. So when I have it turned on, now I can just go ahead and select the next thing that I want read. And then click on it. The other thing I can do is I can hold down the search button, the magnifying glass, and the S. Well, first I have to highlight the text. And then I can do search S. Finally, I can also just hold down my search again, and I can just select a paragraph. So now to recap everything that we've gone through in this video, I apologize that it's a little bit longer, but this is a really exciting feature, is that by using the Chrome Reader mode, you can change the font type, the font size, the theme, which is the font colors and the background colors, the kerning and the leading, as well as have all of this read aloud to you. Now, this does work for just about every website, but you can also go ahead and highlight anything on a website. Let me exit this out right here. And if you two-finger click on it, you'll see open in reading mode. So it's going to open that in reading mode. And it opens the rest, but it does keep that highlighted. So now if I go over to this and if I go over to that and do that search S, I can have it read to me. So again, Chrome reading mode may be my new favorite feature on the Chromebook. I think it's awesome. Let me know what you guys think.